Hello everybody, my name is Lisa. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a quick video that I'd like to show you what I've been working on. I recently ran across these beautiful, and if you saw my last video, these beautiful circle items. So I got bigger ones that I've used on a project, tags yesterday, and then I've gotten these smaller ones that I have. These are spools, and then I printed out new ones for my gauges in the 1-inch size. And what I like to show you is how I have decided to distress some of these simple key tag things that you can get. I got mine at Walmart, but you can get them, you know, office supply stores, Amazon. These are 1 1/4 inches. So when you cut out the circles that are 1 inch, they fit wonderfully in there. I have my inch punch that I was able to punch them out. I got a sheet that I started here of these. These ended up printing a little bit too big, so I was cutting off the edges. So I'm going to use them, but not for this project. So that is how I ended up cutting them out. All right, so I'm going to show you some of the things that I have come across to be able to change this if you don't want this silver looking thing. The best ones that I have found that I have some archival inks from Ranger. They are not the distress ones. I did try to do the distress inks from Tim Holtz. I had this rusty hinge one. I thought I would try that, and they did not work at all that I can tell from it. But these archival ones definitely worked for me. So let me show you here. Let me see if I can. It might be hard to see with the glare. All right, so there is, yeah, it might be hard to see with the glare. This one is with black, jet black archival ink. It almost looks like a gunmetal silver. It's hard to tell. You'll have to believe me. This ended up more like a gunmetal silver. You can see that I did ink the back with the white tag. Whoops. This one I used ground espresso. It has almost a goldish silver look to it. This one I did with plum. It's very cool. It has a purplish hue to the outside of the metal ring, so that actually worked. Whoops. This one I used sepia. Ended up definitely making the silver look more gold, rose gold almost, but definitely gold. And then the last one here, a little harder to tell. This one I used coffee. It almost made it to be like a greenish gold. Again, probably hard to see because it's shiny. And then the final one I did, actually was the first one I did, was I used the alcohol inks that I make the faux tape with. So that's it. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of these. I'm going to show you the alcohol ink one and how I did that. I do have the 3 alcohol inks that I have that I make my faux tape with. They came in a package of 3. I found them at Joann's. They have latte, caramel, and ginger in them. Now these guys were not the easiest to use for them because they just like to, I try my best to put a couple drops on the rim and let them sit there. But as you can see, it decides to go into the center. Which was okay. It ended up just dyeing the paper, which was fine. but it takes a little bit longer to do. So I'm probably not going to do this too often because it did take a lot of ink for such a little project. For that. Now, of course, I have to let this dry, and it's got to soak. The good part about it is it ended up going to the other side when it soaked through. So it's kind of doing two at once. So we're going to kind of let this dry here. And I'm going to show you this, the other ones. So, like this jet black one here. And I basically just did it like any other etching thing. Maybe if I do half, you can be able to tell. Alright, so there's half. Still probably too shiny, but you can see that there's more of a gunmetal color and a silver color. And my inky fingers, you can tell I've been working on this a while. So, hope you can see. Okay. This was probably my favorite one out of all of them. I loved how the metal turned that blackish gray gunmetal kind of color. It still has a shine to it, but it didn't seem as shiny as the just plain silver. All right, so the like I said, this was, I've done both sides of that. That was the coffee one. This was the plum one. I really haven't done this side. Now, I ran out of these dauber guys. I gotta get another package for them. But what I do have on hand is these foam pads. I used them before when I was doing the alcohol ink, so I thought they would work. They're makeup sponges. I get them to glue stuff. They probably absorb more than they need to, but they seem to work just fine, especially in a pinch. So there is that one in the back. And then I think I did both sides in this one. No, I didn't do this way. So the sepia one was this one. And this is how I started to do the rusty hinge on this one. And it wasn't working. And then as soon as I did this sepia one, it definitely gave the orange, probably see that one really good. It definitely gives the orange hue of almost like how the rusty, how I thought the rusty hinge one was going to be, with that orangish hue for it. So that was sepia. That was probably my second favorite one. The coffee one, I'll do a new one here because this one's all done with the tags. The coffee one, it definitely worked. Like I said, it seems to have more of a greenish gold tint to it. Boy, I hope this thing comes off my hands. I really probably should have worn gloves. We are going out to dinner tonight for my son's birthday, probably in about an hour or so. So this should be interesting. Hopefully I can get that ink off. Okay. All right, so there is the coffee one. Okay, so as you can see, it did soak through the other side. Now the it didn't go as much on the rim on this side. I'll throw a little bit more on there. Now, if you're going to hang it, like from a cord and with a hole in it, then you want to do both sides. But if you were just going to, say, glue it down somewhere, you would definitely not have to go through the trouble of doing this. There we go. So now we're going to get both sides, and I'm going to move it out of the way to dry a little bit. And one thing I told you from the last video was I was doing the, watch out for the noise. There we go. I was doing an inking of eyelets. And I had this on the paper, so what do I do with this? So I took a piece of packing tape, put the not sticky side down, and just kind of rolled over it. Just to randomly pick up the ink that's left, because why waste it, right? Okay. And then I laid it on my light surface. I did one earlier from when I did the first one. And you can make yourself some, over a little bit, so you can see. You can make make tape. The ones that I did the day before, that was one of them. I had a little more ink on there, so it flowed a little bit better than this one. But by the time, this one was the other one that I did. I had cut that in half. But by the time you get it down to like strip sizes of some tape, any of these weird kind of configurations will hardly even be able to tell what they look like, because they're going to be smaller and cut into pieces. So that was a way to make some more of my tape. Pretty much dry already. Make some more of my tape and not waste the ink that I used by trying to get this covered. So, yeah. Okay, so once these are all inked pretty well, I'm just going to take these 1-inch circles that I found, ink the sides a little bit, and glue them in. Now, if you were going to, like I said, if you're going to make it two-sided, you would have to have 2 copies of it. I did on this one, I did do 2 copies of it, but you don't have to do, you could have 2 different ones if you wanted to have it hang. Or if you're going to just glue it in, like I said, you really only need to have one version, because no one's going to see the back. One thing I did find out when I did it this way is after I did glue the one side in, I did take and go through and put the hole in there, so because I could see it. Then I glued the second side in, and then when you reverse it, you can see the hole, because if you glue, I mean, I guess if you glue both of them on, you could probably go through and make its own hole. But that way I made sure it was in the same hole that the tag originally had. So that one's cool. Plum color with it. That was fun. Well, let's see. Might as well get the other ones. That probably look cool with that one. And that might look cool with that one. Whoops. There we go. Oops, I got another black one here. Let's find a thread. I get another thread. Now in yesterday's video, I showed all the other ones that I had. There's milk caps and telephone rotaries and, well, that one's fun. Clock faces, and all of them can be resized to 1 inch to work on this project. The only ones that I had did today to get them for this project were my spools and the steampunk kind of grungy dials, gauges that. So we're just going to use these. Oh, I didn't. There we go. Forgot to ink around it. Has a bit of, when I sized it down to make it to fit into the 1 inch, it has a bit of white around the edge, which is fine. But I wanted to make sure that it's gone for this project since I have inked around there. So. Get a little bit of this off my hands before I get more. Here we go. Yeah, so I think these circle things are super fun. I see a lot of projects in my future for them, and I thought this was a perfect vehicle to get a bunch of ephemera done to add to projects. Yeah, so. All right, well, I'm going to call this video done. I'm going to wait for this to dry a little bit more. I think I might put a little bit, maybe not. Wait for this to dry, and I'll show all the ones that are finished at the end of the video. And if you like what you see, please like this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please subscribe so you can see future projects that I have upcoming. And there'll probably be a lot with these circles because these are definitely fun. I love doing them. So as usual, thanks so much for stopping by, and have a great and creative day. Bye now.